Welcome back to the channel, and in this video what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at creating this simple part using extrusions and some cuts using Solidworks. So if this is kind of your first time ever using Solidworks, or you're just kind of curious about how to use some extrusions and things of that nature, go ahead and pay attention to this video. Now in the forehand I'm going to show you how to do this in Solidworks, and I will have another video doing this in Inventor as well. So if you want to do kind of a comparison between the two programs, you will be able to watch both of those videos and, basically kind of say, okay, this works better on this one. Most people will always sit back and go, which one is the better one to choose? And in that case, neither one of them. It's just going to be whichever one you're comfortable with. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and start breaking this down, and then we'll jump into Solidworks and get started. Okay, so I'm going to try to approach this using two different methods, right? The first method that I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and create this overall L here, and I might have to change the color. Hopefully you can see this kind of greenish color here. Let's go ahead and change that to a yellow. But I'm going to create that whole entire shape there, and what that's going to do is leave me with having to remove basically a part of this, right? And you can see this part that I'm tracing here. I'm going to have to come up with a way of removing that from here, and I'm going to have to do that on both sides. And from most other programs, we're thinking mirror in order to do that, or we can create that sketch twice, right? So that's going to be one method that I'm going to do it. The second method that I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this and say, hey, I already see that I can create this part here and just kind of stop it right here at this number here. So in the second half of the video, I'm going to create it using this method, and then I'm going to create this back half on top of it, right? So we're going to take a look at both different approaches. Hopefully this shouldn't take us too long. It's just a couple of simple extrusions, but we'll walk through it here in Solidworks, and you can kind of see, I guess, which one of these methods that you would think of, or if you didn't think of one method, which of them one that you can use to still create the exact same part. So let's jump over to Solidworks now. Okay, so here in Solidworks, what I typically do is I'll usually click on the new button here, and then I'll go ahead and select a part, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and tell it that I want to create a part, and then I'll hit OK. Now with this, we do have to define what our units of measurement is going to be. If you saw me do any of the Inventor videos, or if you're going to go and take a look at that video, you're going to have to select what unit of measurements that you're going to do before you get started. Here, I can select it after I get started. Now I can also do that in Inventor as well, but in Inventor it kind of tells you that, hey, start off using millimeters or start off using inches, and here it's going to typically use the last units that you did before, but it's really super easy to change, and you're going to see that here in a second whenever it loads up and get ready to work. All right, so some of the normal stuff that you're going to see in both of these programs, or in any of the 3D programs, is you're going to have some kind of browser, which is located here. And you're going to have a ribbon along the top that's going to give you all of your commands and features and things of that nature to do. They all work exactly the same. You're going to create a sketch, and then you're going to do something with that sketch, right? That's what you're going to see here in Solidworks. No different than using Inventor. If you're going to use Index, exactly the same thing, or any other, or Creo is another program that you can see that in. If you wanted to change the units of measurement, or you want to verify that the unit of measurement is the one that you want, it's going to be here at the bottom, and from here you can select either the millimeters, inches, or whatever you decide to use. In my case, I'm going to be using the millimeters, grams, and seconds. It's going to be my units that I'll be using for this. Another thing that might happen to you is that when you start Inventor, it might automatically start up in a sketch profile for you. And if it does that, what I want you to do is you're going to go to the settings. And in here, I'm going to do a search on the word sketch. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to search the word sketch. And once it gives me the options, I'm going to select this first option here. And then you can see where it's located at. And then what I'm going to do is verify that I don't have create sketch on new part, right? So when you have this selected, what happens is that when you create a new part, it automatically opens up in a sketch environment. I tend to want to control which environment or which plane I want to create mine on. So by default, it automatically puts it on the front plane. I like to determine which one it's going to be put on. So if you're using it in SolidWorks and this is your first time, it may open up already and it's already in a sketch environment. Some of the ways you can know that it's in a sketch environment is that you'll typically see these icons that are going to be sitting here. And once I create a sketch, you're going to see those exact icons, what I was referring to. Now I'm going to select the sketch button here. And what's going to happen is it's going to locate these three planes, right? So what view do I want to create? Do I want to create the front view, the top view, or I want to create the right side view, right? Remember that these are going to be your three views that you're going to see in any isometric drawing. What I'm going to do is choose the right plane. Once I choose this right plane, you can see that I'm in a sketch, and I can verify that I'm in a sketch by two different ways. I can see here underneath the bottom, it's saying, hey, you're doing sketch 1 right now. And here at the top are those two icons that I was telling you about. So you have the sketch here that I can exit the sketch, or I can just cancel the sketch altogether. So if you're already in a sketch, you can hit this and it will cancel that sketch out, right? All right. So now I'm going to start off by creating the shape that I want. I'm going to start off with the line command. And then I'm going to draw that L shape. So I'm going to click here. I'll come straight down. Kind of line it up. And you can see I get a yellow little icon underneath my cursor here. And I'll just keep going around here. And I'm just going to kind of draw this L shape for me. And click here. All right, hit the escape button to get out of that command. And now you can see that I have a shape created here. I need to go ahead and put some dimensions on it. So I'll go here to the smart dimensioning. I'm going to select the line here. And I actually selected the midpoint there. Let's escape out of that. Let's go to smart dimension. I'll select the line. And then I'll come over this way. And right now it's going to load up where I want to place that dimension. So I'm going to click here. And it looks like it didn't give me my dimension. All right, one more time. So smart dimension, select the line, come over here, and then click. Okay. Once I click, it's going to prompt me to give me the length of whatever I want that to be. It's going to be 105. I'll go ahead and hit enter. I'll do the same here at the bottom. So I'm going to select this line. I'll come down here. I'll click, type in 100. And hit enter. All right. So now that I have both of my sketches done, I'll go ahead and hit the escape button. All right. So now you see that sometimes this will go a little weird on you. And what I want you to do, if this does happen, is just grab this line. So I'm going to left click and hold it. And then I'm just going to drag it to the other side here. Okay. Let's go ahead and move this around a little bit. And you can see that I was going to pan this over and I accidentally hit the middle mouse wheel button here. Another thing that you can do to get this back to the right orientation is go ahead and select the normal, and then that's going to straighten it back out. Okay, I have to do a couple of more things here. I know that this distance here is going to be 10, right? So both of these two distances should be 10. Now I can set those two equal to each other, and the way that you're going to do that is that make sure that you're not in any command. So I'm hitting escape. I'll go ahead and select this line. I'm going to hold down the shift button, and then I'll come and select this line. Now, once I select that line and I stay on it for a little bit, you'll get some options here, right? So I can go ahead and just tell it to make it equal. If this little box does not appear fast enough or it deletes, you'll still have those same options located here on the side. So if I select the equal here, it's going to set both of those equal to each other. And I'll go back to my smart dimensioning. I'll select this line here, come to the side, do a left click, and then I'll type in the distance that I need this to be, which in our case, it's going to be 10. All right, we just need a couple of more things to put on here. Let's go ahead and hit escape. And what I mean by that is I want this line here, or this point, to be in line with the midpoint of this line, right? So once again, make sure that you're not in any commands. I'm going to left click on that point, hold down the shift button, and then I'm going to come over here to this line until I find that midpoint. Once it highlights, you'll see I get the icon. Do a left click on that line. You can let go of the shift button. Remember, you're going to get that little icon to appear. I can go horizontal, or you can use the one that's over there in the browser. So I'll select it here. Go ahead and hit the escape button. Select this origin again. Hold down the shift button. And then come here to the bottom and then go find the midpoint. Do a left click here. You can let go of that shift button now. And then I can choose the vertical option. Okay. Let's go ahead and hit the escape button. And now if I look down here at the bottom here, it says that it is fully defined. So my sketch is actually done and it's ready. So at this point, I can either add some more stuff if I was doing some more sketching, or you can do a right click and tell it that you want to exit the sketch function. So you can either do it here or you can select here. Either one is the same. So I hit the end the sketch. Once it's done, you can see my part. I'm just going to kind of give it a little rotation. Now another thing that you can do is you can also click the space bar. It's going to bring open this plane window here. And then I can select on this isometric here, right? So it'll rotate my shape in an isometric view. And then from here, I'm going to extrude it, right? So I'm going to go to extrude, base, boss. I'm going to select here. And now it's asking me, hey, go ahead and select a plane or whatever feature that you want. Well, I have this sketch here. So once I select this sketch, Solidworks should be able to find this and see that it is a closed sketch and say, hey, that's what you want to extrude here. And then I have to give it either some characteristics of how I want this sketch to behave. Basically, do I want it to go in this direction, blind at a distance? I can add a second direction if I want it to go asymmetric, or if we want it to go symmetrically, there is a mid-plane option here, which is the one that I'm going to choose. And then I'm going to give it the distance or the depth, which in our case is going to be 150, right? So once I type that in, you should start seeing some kind of preview happening here on my screen. And if that's not the case, go ahead and hit the enter button. Then it'll pop it up. And then we can either hit the check of OK here, or I can right click and do an OK here. All right, so there's my first piece that I've created with this, right? So you can see that I'm just going to do a left click anywhere on the screen. And that should be what I need to get rid of that sketch or hide that sketch. If I wanted to edit that sketch, remember that this goes amongst most of your 3D programs that you're going to use. That sketch still exists underneath here. So we can always select this sketch here and do a right click on it and then edit this sketch, and then that'll take me back to the sketch where I can make changes. Okay, I'm just going to rotate around here just to get to the back of this. I'm going to do a left click here. And then I'm going to choose this sketch option. So I want to create a sketch on it, right? I can also do another option here. I can left click on that back plane and I can come up here to the top and choose sketch. Either one of those methods will work. Okay, so now I'm on the back of this. I just did a left click out here just to clear that blue area. And then I'm going to start off by getting rid of that part that I didn't want, right? So remember that I'm going to start off by drawing a line. I'm going to touch somewhere along this edge. Do a left click here, and I give myself an angle. Go here, go up here, and then I'm going to stop at that point. Okay? Next, I'm going to go ahead and create, let's see if I can get away with doing just a regular 3-point arc here. So I'm going to go with a 3-point arc. One of the things you want to do is sometimes you want to check over here and see what type of arc it's going to create. And it also gives you the order of how you should be selecting your points. So I'm using a 3-point arc here. I'm going to select, here's my first point. My second point is somewhere here. And then my third one is I'm just going to click somewhere in here. All right. Go ahead and hit the escape button. Now I'll hit it again. I'm just going to select this line. Hold down the shift button. Select my arc here. Once again, you should get a little box that appears and you can say tangent, or you can select the word tangent from over here in your relations. All right. I'm going to do that one more time here at the top. I'm going to go escape out of here. I'm going to select this line, hold down the shift button, select this line here, and then use the tangent option that's located here. All right, I'm going to add a few more dimensions onto here. So I'm just going to go to the dimension, select this endpoint here and this bottom line. Go ahead and place that dimension here. Tell it the height of here, which is going to be 20. Let's go ahead and do the angle that's located here. So go ahead and select this line. And then I'm going to select this line here. I'll do a click here. Type in the angle, which is going to be 30. All right. Go ahead and add another dimension. Let's see, we have a dimension that goes from this line here to this center point. Go ahead and place it here. Has a distance of 70. And I'm just trying to look over this and decide if I want to go ahead and put the fillet that's located here now, or we can do it with the actual command. So in here, we'll discuss the fillet command as a feature later. But for right now, I'll go ahead and add it inside of this sketch. So I'll go to Sketch Fillet. Go ahead and type in the radius that I want. In our case, it's 20. I'll select this line here, and then this line. Go ahead and hit the check mark. It's good to go. All right, let's go ahead and add a couple of more things here. So I'm going to go to a line, go from that point over to that point, and then let's do a line from that point down to this point. All right, go ahead and hit the check mark. I think everything is fine with this. Let's go ahead and finish this sketch. And then we're going to send an extrude, this time not an extrude base, but we want to actually cut through this. So we're going to go with an extrude cut. All right, so I'm going to select the extrude cut. It should automatically pick that. Let me rotate this to the side to see that. And over here underneath the option, it already has the sketch plane. Do I want to send it blind, or do I want to give it a distance? I'm going to give it a distance of going through all. And once I select that, it's going to cut through that part. And all I have to do now is hit the check mark. And it should take away that portion. All right. Now I can also mirror this to the other side. So here's going to be another one of those commands, right? So this is going to be a mirror feature. Now remember that, I don't know if you're noticing this, anywhere from this line over, these are going to be typically features. And this side going that way are going to be kind of in your sketch properties, right? So I want to use a mirror. And then it's going to say, hey, what do I want to mirror? In our case, let's go ahead and jump back over to here. I want to mirror this cut, right? And then it says, oh, I actually stepped through that wrong. Let's go through this one more time. Let's go to mirror. And I just misread it myself. I'm not even looking at it, right? So it says, go ahead and select the mirror face that I want to go through, right? And in our case, we need to decide which one I'm going to go through. Let's kind of rotate this down a little bit. Here's another one of those awesome reasons why I chose mid-plane in the beginning here. You can see that this right plane is right in the middle of what I need. So that's going to be my mirror plane, right? Features to mirror. So I'm going to select here, and I want to mirror this cut. And so you see that it does give me that, and it's showing the preview of it. And once I hit the OK button, it should automatically take that portion off. All right, let's go ahead and draw this slot part that's in the back. So once again, I'm going to select this back face here. And then what I'm going to do is, let's just go ahead and hit the normal button, and then I'll create a sketch on it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and create a circle, right? And if this stays blue for you, go ahead and hit the escape button and just click somewhere to the outside, and that will clear that blue face for you. I'm just going to go to a circle. I'm going to go find the center of here, right? So I'm just kind of touching that circle, and it should give me the center of that somewhere. There it is. And once it shows that center, I'm just going to do a left click on that center, and then I'll go ahead and click here. I'm going to place another circle here along the bottom. Let's go ahead and hit escape. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to select this center point, hold down the shift button, and then I'll go and select that center point. I'll go ahead and use the vertical. Let's go ahead and click to the outside of my screen, hit escape, select that circle, hold down the shift button here, select that circle. And then what I'm going to do on here is just make those two equal to each other. Now you'll notice that I didn't put a dimension on it yet. Let's go ahead and add a couple of more dimensions on here. So I'm going to add a dimension from here to here. And that should be 45.4. That'll give me that distance. Let's escape out of here. I'm going to draw a vertical line. So I'm just using the line command here. One going straight from here to here. Let's escape out of here and do another line on the other side here. Okay. I'm just going to set these two lines tangent to my circle. So remember, I'm selecting here, holding down the shift button. Select this line here. And then select tangent. Let's escape out of here. Do the exact same thing on the other side. Select here. Hold down the shift button. Select here. And then select the tangent option. Now you'll see sometimes I'll switch back and forth between either selecting it from my little pop-up window there or actually using it one that's over here in the browser. Let's go ahead and do some trimming, right? So let's go to the trim. And then here underneath the options, I'm going to go ahead and select the trim the closest. I'll just go ahead and trim off these portions here at the top of these. And then the circle part that's here at the bottom. Let's escape out of that. We need one more dimension here. Let's go ahead and place a dimension. Select that arc here. Go ahead and click here. And that has a radius of 15. All right, let's escape out of here. Looks like everything should be done. We can end the sketch. Just going to rotate this to the side. I'm going to choose a extended cut. It should be asking me, what do I want to cut? It automatically found it. Just tell it to go through all. Go ahead and hit the OK button. And it looks like my part is a little bit too tall for it. Let's go back in and see exactly what did I put wrong in here. And I think I already know what I did. I'm going to go back to the original sketch here. Sorry, the second sketch here. Let's do a right click and edit this one. So I'm just going to select it and edit this sketch. And I know what I did. I actually did the 70 here. Let's go ahead and double click on this number, which is a really good problem that you may have. I forgot to add the 10 that's underneath that, right? So this number actually should be 80. Once I change that to 80, it's going to update all of the other stuff for us. Let's go ahead and hit this check. And then all of these parts should automatically step through and fix, right? So let's go ahead and finish this. That's fixed. And everything is fixed. Okay. Let's go ahead and put this final piece here on the bottom of here. We have 4 holes that we need to go ahead and construct. So I'll go ahead and select here. I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch on this bottom plane. Now this shouldn't be that, we should be able to do this a little bit faster. I'm just going to create 4 circles here. Doesn't matter the size of them. I'm just drawing 4 circles. Once again, I'm just kind of creating them. I can select, hold down the shift button and keep selecting all of the other circles. And we have one more to select. And then all I have to do is go tell them that all of those are going to be equal to each other. So I'll select there. Let's escape out of here. I'll select this center point, hold down the shift button and select this one. Once I let it go, just go ahead and tell them that those are going to be vertical. I like to click off of my screen here, hit the escape button, select that center, shift button, this one, let it go, vertical. Click here, hit escape. I'm going to select that, hold down the shift button, and select here. Make those horizontal. I don't know if it selected it or not. Okay, good, it did. Let's do this one at the bottom. I'm going to select here, hold down the shift button and select here. And go ahead and tell it that they need to be horizontal. All right, let's go ahead and add a dimension to here. And it doesn't matter which one of these circles I add it to, they're all the same. Remember that the diameter of this circle should be set to 20. And then we just need to place some dimensions on here, right? So let's do a dimension from that endpoint to here. I'll go ahead and place it. And then I will go ahead and set that distance equal to 20. Do the exact same thing here at the top. So I'm going to select from that endpoint to this endpoint. And I think it grabbed the bottom one there. And if it did, I'm just going to hit escape and get rid of that. Let's escape out of here. Let's come back to the smart dimension. Let's go find that center in this one. This distance here is 50. Let's do a dimension from this line here to that point. This distance should be set to 20. Let's escape out of here one more time, and then we have a dimension from that point to that point, and this number is set to 110. All right, so all of those distances are set. Let's go ahead and finish this. So we're going to exit the sketch, kind of rotate this up a little bit. Then we're going to take a look at the extrude cut. It should be able to find those 4 holes, which it did. It's already set to go through all. Once I hit the check mark here, it actually should create that. Let's do a click here, hit the space bar, and then let's go ahead and take a look at this in an isometric view. All right, and there you have it. So there's our front view looking this way, our right side view, which looks that way, and then our top view looking down on it, right? So hopefully you understand this portion of it. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new part like this one. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by creating the bottom part of that if I looked at it the other way, and then we'll go from that part. So if you're understanding this part, the other one is just a different method of doing this, right? All right, so I'm just going to click on the new one here. Go ahead and go to part, hit OK. And this one I don't have to go through each and every step with you. I'm just going to do the quick L part of it, and then we'll go ahead and create that sketch on it, and I don't have to, you know, kind of go as slow as I did there on the introduction part of doing that, right? So when I create the sketch here, all of this stuff is going to be kind of normal to you. I'm just going to go ahead and create this on the right plane. I'm going to start off by creating my sketch. I'll draw my lines here, and like I said with the other one, instead of creating it weird, and you can see that I actually drew that a little bit different. I'll straighten that up at the bottom here, which is some of those typical things that will happen. Okay, and I have this line going down this way. Okay, you can see that this bottom line I actually kind of screwed up a little bit on. Let's just go ahead and select that line, and then I'm going to tell it that that line actually needs to be horizontal. Okay, let's go ahead and put our dimensions on here. So we're going to go with our smart dimension. We're going to place this one at a distance of 20. And then we're going to go ahead and place our other dimension, which is going to be placed at, what is that, 100? And I'll still do the same things I did before. Let me zoom out a little bit and you can see that these two. Let's go ahead and put a couple of more dimensions on here. Go ahead and place this at 10. And then we're going to go ahead and make it equal to the other one, just like we did before. So I'm just going to select this line here, hold down the shift button and select here. Now you'll notice another thing that I'm doing, and I'm not necessarily telling you, but typically after I do something, I usually like to hit the escape button twice, and that just basically clears me out of anything that I'm currently in. All right, so I'm going to go and find this midpoint, select it, hold down the shift button, go find that center point there, make it vertical. The exact same thing needs to happen over here, so escape twice. Go and find that midpoint, which is located here. Hold down the shift button, go find it here. And then I like to go with I think it grabbed the wrong midpoint. Let's go ahead and move this up or down. Sometimes it will do that, so it's easier to grab this and move it down. Okay. And then I can be able to find both of the points that I need. So I'll go here, hold that one, hold down the shift button and select that point. There we go. And I'll make both of them horizontal. Okay. Perfect. Everything is fully defined. I'll hit the right shift, and then go to edit sketch. When I say edit sketch, I meant finish sketch. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish this one. Let's look at this. Let's go ahead and select the extrude boss base. You can see that I already had sketch 1 selected, so therefore it already picked it. Its overall dimension here should be 150. I'm going to hit the enter button. I'm going to hit the check mark here. Okay. Let's go ahead and rotate around here to the back portion of here. Select here. Go ahead and create a sketch on it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in this bottom portion, right? So I'm going to select the convert entries, and then I'll select this face here, and it's going to select all and bring in all of that face. Go ahead and hit the check mark here. So now you can see all 4 of those lines are brought in. I'll select this top line here, and then I'm going to select the construction geometry, right? So I want that to be part of this, but it's not part of it. All right, so from this point, I'll start off by finishing up the rest of the stuff I need to do. So I'll go ahead and draw a line here. We're going to send it off at an angle here. We'll go up from here. I'm just going to go straight across. Come down like here, and then I'll select here. Okay. Rotate this a little bit to the side so you can hopefully see it a little bit better. Let's go ahead and put a few dimensions on here. So I'll smart dimension from here to here. Remember that has an angle of 30. I'll do the exact same thing on the other side. And what are we going to do next here? Let's go ahead and set both of these lines equal to each other. That way it'll automatically center it. So I'll select this line, hold down the shift button, and select this other one. Once it gives me that option here to the side, I'm just going to set them equal to each other. And remember that if you want to rotate this back and parallel it, just select a parallel. Let's add a few more dimensions on here. So let's go with a dimension from this bottom line here to here. And I'll place it here. So this is once again going all the way from the bottom to this point. This is going to be 80. And why not? Let's add the dimension of this line going right across, right? So this has a dimension. And remember that we have a radius that is sitting for this arc. So that means that this distance going across should actually be 50. Okay, so from this point, you can kind of leave it at this direction or whatever you want it to be, right? But I want to add that extra arc that's here at the top of this. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and add it into this sketch. instead of going ahead and making another one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extend this up by 25, right? Because that's going to be the radius of that. So 80 plus our 25 there should give me a distance of 105. So I'm just going to double click on this, and I'm going to change this number here to 105. It should extend this up. And then here along the top of this, I'm going to go ahead and set those radiuses in there, or radii is what I should say. Let's go ahead and go to the Finish Fillet Sketch here. I'm going to go ahead and give it a number of 25. Go ahead and select this line here and this one, as well as this line and this one. And I'm trying to see, sometimes it might not be able to pick that one up. And if it don't, then what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take this off, and then I'll use the regular fillet command. So let's see, if it's going to give me a conflict here, we'll go ahead and remove it. And let's go ahead and finish this sketch. So I'm going to exit the sketch. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the boss. It should automatically pick this up, and I'll zoom back here in a second. I don't want it to be on mid-plane anymore. I want it to be on blind. I'm going to send it the other direction, which is going to be this icon. Then I'm going to give it a distance, which is going to be set to 10. Right? So make sure you're using the extruder and boss. Otherwise, it will actually cut through your part. Once I hit the check mark here, it should automatically create that. And then let's see if we can get this to work with the fillet command. So here's a fillet that's using the feature function. So if I go here, and I should be able to set this to 25. I'm going to select that edge. And then that edge. Right? And then let's go ahead and hit the OK button. And now you can see that it did pick it up. Now, it's kind of one of those strange things. I don't know why it did not pick it up when I did it inside of the sketch, but either way, doesn't really matter. Now, the rest of this will be the exact same steps that you've seen me do in the previous stuff. So I'll just go ahead and speed on through this, or you can refer back to that. So I'll just I guess I can speed this portion up of the video as you've seen me do this part before. And then we'll come back and then we'll kind of wrap this all up. Okay, so hopefully you like this comparison between both different methods. And let's see if we can put them side by side here. It actually kicked it over there to my other screen here. But hopefully you enjoyed both of these, or enjoyed watching both of these, and I'm trying to get it to where, there we go, where they're both side by sides. No matter which one that you choose to, which method that you choose to do, they're going to all work the same out for you. It's just a matter of your perception or however you start on that. Just remember though, whichever way you start with, you can get to the same solution, by doing either step. And you can see on this one, I actually forgot to do the fillets on here, and I just noticed that. And I'm just going to add them on here real quick. Right, so I have this selected. That distance is what, 20? Do apologize for doing this a little bit late in the video, but there we go. And I'm sure if I didn't have done this, somebody would have probably left me a good comment below, but there you go. There's a good comparison of doing them. So it doesn't matter which way you start off. It's just we're getting to the same solution. You can see by looking at the browsers, each of the steps are almost the same. I'm not going to say which one is better than the other. It's just whichever way you do decide to do this, right? So thank you for watching this video. Hopefully you kind of understand the two methods that I was trying to demonstrate in here. And as always, just keep drafting. Until the next video.